Hello everyone. This is a brief presentation covering the syllabus for Social Work 301, our Social Work Intervention Individuals and Families course. What I wanted to do is go over the syllabus, and then after I get through with the syllabus, I'll do another video presentation going over Blackboard and the components that's within Blackboard regarding your assignments for this course. Start off with the syllabus. I just want you to see highlighted in yellow my contact information. And you can normally reach me at the 843-345-2224 number. That's my cell phone, so you can reach me anytime at that number. Just leave a message. If I do not answer, and I will return your call immediately. Just below that, you will see that I have my email address, again with my phone number to include my office hours. I'm teaching on Tuesday, Thursday, so I'm always in the office by 2 to 5 before I start my class at 6. The required text for this video basically is listed right here in the syllabus. To include, you need the Code of Ethics. So please go to the social work webpage and pull down the Code of Ethics. Now there are two NASW Code of Ethics, one with the date 2008, and there's a current NASW Code of Ethics which is for 2017. So there's a new one that was published in 2017. When you print out your syllabus, please take the time to actually read the learning objectives for this particular course. You'll see that there's a number of things that we will be doing in this particular course. One will be the role play. We will also be doing a biopsychosocial spirituality assessment that you will have to conduct on an individual. You need to also take the pre and post test for this particular course. This course has a midterm exam, and it also have what we call a final role play presentation exam. And I will talk more about that a little later on as we go into the class. Also be mindful in this course, you must demonstrate ethical and professional behavior in regards to the NASW Code of Ethics. As we move down to the methodology section of the syllabus, I've highlighted section D, in which you are required to do a biopsychosocial spiritual assessment. Also note that number 1 says that students must have an approval from the instructor regarding selection of particular clients. And the reason I say that is because we don't want students going out and doing a biopsychosocial spirituality assessment on an individual who may have some more serious mental illnesses. In other words, we don't want you opening up something in an individual without knowing how to close that. So please contact me with your potential client that you want to interview. I want to always caution, if you are interviewing a family member, sometimes we start out in the role as an interviewer, and when we hear something we don't like, we resort immediately to a parenting role. In other words, an example is I had a student who actually interviewed her adolescent daughter. And one of the questions she asked is, when were you sexually active? And when her daughter told her that, she was alarmed and dropped her interviewing role and went immediately into the parenting role, dealing with the issue of sexual behavior. So just be mindful when you interview someone. You may hear something you're not ready to hear, but if you do, try to maintain your interviewing role versus resorting to a parent. Section 2 talks about a letter. There's a letter in this syllabus basically explaining the potential reason for this assignment, the nature of confidentiality. You also have an informed consent form that's in this syllabus that you have to get signed by the client. Also be mindful when you're doing your biopsychosocial spirituality assessment, please do not use your potential client's real name, or any personal information regarding, when I say personal information, I mean like address, locations, and what have you. So if you are interviewing Miss Susan Bishop, well, her name will resort to Jane Doe. So just remember, do not use any pertinent real information about clients. When I say pertinent information, I mean like their local address, their personal name, their social security number. So you want to refrain from that. So just make those data information up. Also, that all information contained in the written assignment is only discussed and viewed by me and your fellow students. So please make sure that you let your potential client be aware of that. Also, when we look at the written assignment, it says each student is required to conduct an interview and write a biopsychosocial spirituality develop assessment. You must also develop a client contract and formulate an intervention plan. Now, I provided examples of these information already for you, so you can have an understanding of what needs to happen here. And I will discuss that in the next video. Also, you have a final examination, which includes a presentation and a role play by each student that demonstrate the use of general intervention model. In other words, we're going to be discussing the generalist intervention model. So when you get ready to do your biopsychosocial spirituality assessment, you'll know how to do that role play, incorporating those steps. If you have any questions about your biopsychosocial spirituality assignment, do not hesitate to contact me by my phone number. This is something that you will be required to do when you are in field. So a number you may already be heading towards field. So this is very important that you actually capture this assignment in detail. So I will try to be very thorough as we go through the class sessions with these particular assignments. So just be mindful. If you have any questions, use the contact information number. Okay, let's take a look at the grading criteria for the biopsychosocial spiritual assessment. That will be due on the 22nd of February, and that's worth 20% of your grade. You have quizzes also in this assignment, which is ongoing, which will incorporate 15% of your grade. You have a discussion sessions. In other words, you have 8 discussions that you have 8 weekly discussions that you have to complete, and that will be worth 15% of your grade. You have a role play that we will be conducting on February the 15th. Everyone has to do that, and that will be 20% of your grade. So there you see your role play is worth 20% of your grade, and then your final exam role play is worth 15%, and then you have your midterm exam, which is worth 15%. Do not worry about the questions for the midterm exam right now. I will discuss that more in the next video, and you will have an idea of what you need to do to understand what's required for the midterm exam. Okay, the rest of the information in the syllabus basically is your statement of non-discrimination. You have your social work program policies on non-discrimination and human diversity. So you want to read the last sessions of this syllabus to make sure that you have an understanding of what's required of you. So when you see the ECC link, which is right here, when you click on that, that is going to give you information about extended campus classroom and what's expected of you. As we go further down into the syllabus, I'm going to cover this a little in detail, and I've took the liberty of highlighting what you need to be doing as we look at what's required in the outline. So when we look at the dates basically are our dates of classroom, which is Tuesday and Thursday, which is for the first week of this assignment. So for the first week, you can see we are going to start off with chapter 11 in the textbook instead of chapter 1 and 2. So you need to take time and read chapter 11. that covers the values, ethics, and resolutions of ethical dilemma on page 393 through 438 of your textbook. Basically, you want to go ahead and start with this particular question, this particular part, because you have to take what we call a quiz on the Code of Ethics, basically in week 1 of this assignment. So make sure you read chapter 11 and take the quiz on the Code of Ethics. There's 25 questions there that you have to respond to, and that needs to be done within week 1. So you have from Tuesday to Sunday to complete this assignment. So this assignment will close on Sunday. I think it's January 14th. So you want to make sure you complete this assignment. Also, you have a discussion in week 1 that you have to complete in Unit 1. So when you click on Unit 1, you'll see the assignment in which you have to complete that's regarding the South Carolina Licensure Board of Review case, looking at the violation of License 7150. After you have did this, you need to respond to the discussion session to ensure that you complete this assignment and submit it in Blackboard. If you have any questions about this assignment, do not hesitate to call me. So I've already laid out your assignments for Unit 1 that you have to complete by Sunday. When we go into Unit 2, I've already highlighted your assignment for Unit 2. So you can see in Unit 2, we're going to be reading chapters 1 and chapters 2 of the assignment. I'm not sure whether you have the micro practice skills workbook, working with individuals. If you don't, you definitely still need to read chapter 1 that's introducing you to the generalist practice intervention model, which is something you will be utilizing when you get ready to do your final role play exam. So it's very important that you read chapter 1 and get a thorough understanding of the generalist practice, looking at the generalist intervention model. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to actually call me for further assistance if needed. Also in Unit 2, you'll see that we're going to look at doing a session on role-playing verbal and non-verbal skills. So we're going to look at what it's like utilizing verbal skills and what should we be doing and what should we be doing when we recognize non-verbal skills. Just be mindful when you're working with clients. We actually do more non-verbal skills than we utilize verbal skills. So it's very important that we have a thorough understanding of verbal skills and non-verbal skills. As always, all students are required to review the competencies note that's in your text. And then you have a quiz, which is under tests and quizzes that you have to complete in Unit 2. Now remember, Unit 2 consists of 2 dates, which is Tuesday, Thursday. And so basically those are the dates that's required for all the classroom discussions. But just be mindful that your first discussion post should be done on Thursday, and you should be responding to your peers no later than Sunday. This assignment will close on Sunday, and Unit 3 assignment will open up at midnight on Sunday, 1 minute after midnight on Sunday. So just be mindful that we have to do that. So I've took the liberty in each of the units and laying out what's required of you. So be mindful that you need to have a thorough understanding on what's required of you in each one of these assignments. So you see, again, in Unit 3, I've already highlighted what you need to be doing. You have a quiz in Unit 3 that you need to complete. You have a discussion board assignment. And then we're going to do another role play assessment in contracting. So you're going to have an understanding. I may even use a video to have you review prior to us having a class discussion on this. But just be mindful that we're going to do a role play of assessments and contracting. Unit 4, basically, that's where you have your midterm exam. Your midterm exam is going to be chapters 1, 2, 5, 6, and 11. And your midterm exam is in the upper part of the grading sessions, and when you're going to be doing that, which is February the 1st, in your syllabus. And if you are at another site in which the individuals that I'm doing this video for is from the Columbia site, you need to email me, or you need to make sure that you contact the person in your testing center so that they can email me, or you can email me those person name so I can email them information about your midterm exam. In other words, the password for your midterm exam, what's required of you the day you're taking the exam, and what have you. So just be mindful that that is something that you need to do as soon as possible so that I can email this information to your proctor. If you're taking your exam at your site, then just send me that individual's name and I can send that information to the Columbia proctor. Unit 5, here again you have an opportunity to turn in your client contract under Unit 5. And as I said before, when we look at Blackboard, I'll show you where you need to input that, and I'll show you where there's an example of that. You also have a quiz in Unit 5 that you need to complete. You have a discussion questions that you need to complete. And students in this class are required to utilize an EquiMap and with their family. So you have to do a genogram and an EquiMap. So we're going to be talking a little bit about genogram and EquiMaps so you can have a thorough understanding of that. Unit 6, again, I've highlighted information that you need to do. So just be mindful in this particular syllabus. If you haven't printed out yet, please do, because I've already highlighted all the information that's required of you. And here again in Unit 6, we have a role play based on a case example that's listed on page 365. Unit 7, in Unit 7, you're going to submit your intervention plan and a revised biopsychosocial spirituality assessment. Unit 8 is where you're going to do your last discussion. You're going to do your presentation and role play. That's basically your evaluation that you're going to be applying the journalist practice model. So just be mindful that that's going to be your final presentation. And you won't have a final quiz in this, but your final presentation and role play will be submitted under the tests and quizzes section. Okay, this is going to conclude my presentation of the syllabi, but here again is the informed consent form that you're going to need and have your potential client sign. In addition to that, you have information about the behavioral policy and what have you that's in your syllabus. So that's going to conclude my presentation in regards to the syllabus. This is something that we covered in the live session classroom. Again, I apologize for some of the problems we had in the beginning as far as you being able to have access to all of this information.